I know many of you are considering a career in UX design but don't know how the day-to-day life looks like, and also you don't know its challenges and probably also kind of gossipy salary information. So that is why in this video I will share with you my day-to-day life, how it's been in the last 18 months as I got my first full-time UX design job, and I will also give you the gossipy information about my salary, so make sure you stick till the end. Ahmet, why the hell did you get this job in the first place? Well, Plantar has been my top pick out of the 3 offers I had received, and the number one reason was that I actually met my manager during our final meeting and he told me every negative thing about the job on the spot. This made me trust him and the company's culture that nobody would sugarcoat any kind of feedback they would give me, and I would grow as fast as possible as a UX designer. Now my tasks can be separated into 3 different chunks of 6 months as I worked in this company. In the first 6 months I mostly did UI design work. Once I met my core team of 4 and we hit it off, I began sketching and then moving those sketches into high fidelity design as fast as possible for the next 6 months. So I, for the first 4 months, have been working alone because I'm just doing high fidelity design, and I also use the Figma comments and also Google Docs to actually keep track of my changes, and I got my team's feedback. So it was mostly about documenting my high fidelity design decisions, communicating with the team, but mostly working alone because it was just a UI design task mostly. In my second 6 months, I did mostly UX design work. So in the first few months, I actually did some listening to understand some customer problems. I talked with my teammates to understand technical constraints, and then I also began sketching and ideating a lot of solutions. I also needed to understand mathematics because our company also produces 3D tours, and I had to understand the mathematics behind to actually improve the UX design to still get accurate measurements. In my last 6 months, what I've been trying to do more is, now that I had created a design system in my first 6 months, I am trying to scale up so that our other products will also look more consistent in terms of typography, color, UI elements, etc. So I am practicing a lot on Figma, reading documentation, and trying to find ways on how to scale design systems more. Now, while I haven't got fired, and I believe I did a pretty good job, there were some challenges on the road. In my first project, I realized that my UI design skills were subpar compared to my UX design skills. I was making errors on margins, I didn't know how to space things correctly sometimes, and I also didn't know how to pick the best color for the job. In my second project, where I was focusing more on UX design, I realized I didn't know how to get the type of feedback I needed. For example, when some of my colleagues said I like this solution, I didn't know how to reframe the conversation so that I would get a much better feedback and much more usable feedback than just an example of taste like I like it. In my last project, I didn't know how to build a great design system on Figma. I didn't know how to scale it, I didn't know how to create documentation for it, and I didn't know how to separate it into different pages per component. It is one thing to face challenges, it is another to overcome them, and I wanted to overcome them, so I actually put in the work. I practiced. To get better at UI design, I bought Eric Kennedy's Learn UI Design course a year ago, and I've been putting 5 to 10 hours every week since then, and it improved my UI design skills tremendously. To get better at articulating my UX design decisions, I read this book called Articulating Design Decisions, and I learned how to arrange a design critic meeting better so I would get the type of feedback I am looking for in every meeting. And last, to create a design system that could scale easily on Figma, I did 2 things. First, I actually went through Figma's documentation, which is a goldmine, and learned how to create a design system and took their advice. Second, I actually used some free design systems that are available on Figma and created by other frameworks such as Ant Design System, and I analyzed how they actually scaled their own design system components such as buttons or let's say menus or drop downs, so I could actually implement them in our company. Now comes the juicy part of how much money I make. Now, Understand this, when I actually joined Plantar, I had at most a full-time 1-year design experience. So I was around an advanced junior designer, and that is when I actually received 3 offers including Plantar. First offer I had received was from a company in Alberta, and it was for $65,000 Canadian. The second offer I had received was from a startup, and I could work remotely anywhere in Canada, and it was for $70,000 Canadian dollars. The last offer I had received was from Plantar, and roughly they offered me between $75,000 Canadian to $85,000 Canadian. Now, in terms of picking the company, did the salary actually affect my decision making? It did a little, but more so this company would give me the most potential to grow because it was a multi-million-dollar company and I was their first full-time UX designer, so I would have a lot of opportunities to actually set the design culture. So that is actually one of the reasons why I joined, and I'm very happy to be working for this company and I'm growing tremendously. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video, and if you understand now kind of the day-to-day life as a UX designer that I actually had to live, and you are also wondering what kind of a state the industry is in, please watch this video next.